Well, here we are. Welcome to the Ponderosa.
Oh, it's beautiful, Mr. Cartwright.
Has the feel of a fine clipper ship. Out here all alone in a sea of green and brown.
Father sees the briny in everything he looks at, Mr. Cartwright.
Well, he has salt water in his veins, Laura. Well, come on in, folks. Here, let me take that, Laura.
Fine quarters, Benjamin. A man's house.
Well, we find it very comfortable. The boys and I are very happy here. Laura, why don't you sit down?
Where are the lads?
They should be finishing their chores pretty soon.
I believe my daughter's anxious to see the one she made mud pies with.
Oh, Father.
Well, Laura, I guess Joseph is no longer that freckle-faced boy that you remember. He's grown up, just like you.
Oh, I'm sure he has, Mr. Cartwright.
Matthew, how about a sherry?
Aye, thank you.
Laura?
No, thank you.
Hey, how long a leave of absence are you taking from the sea, Matthew?
Indefinite.
Indefinite? You taking an indefinite leave of absence from the sea? You know, that doesn't sound quite like you.
I owe some time to my daughter.
We've been separated so much. He thought he'd finally like to know his daughter.
Her mother died while I was at sea.
Oh.
We've been at a bit of a loss, Laura and I.
Well, then I'm doubly glad you came to the Ponderosa.
It's what Laura wanted.
Captain White, Laura. Didn't expect you here until tomorrow.
Well, the stagecoach picked up fair winds between St. Louis and Virginia City.
Wonderful.
Good thing I was in town for the cattle auction, wasn't it?
And Laura. It just doesn't seem possible. The last time I saw you in New Orleans, you were about so tall.
Well, you weren't much taller, Joe.
I guess 12 years does make a big difference. It certainly has in you. You're pretty as a picture.
I don't make mud pies anymore, either.
Hey, well, I don't eat them anymore, either.
You remember this, Joe?
Did you keep this thing?
Yes, all these years. You picked it for me in our garden the day you left New Orleans.
That's right, I remember. That was to remember me by. Look, I wish I'd known you were coming earlier, Captain. I hate to run out on you like this, but I have an important engagement. But I'll see you tomorrow morning. Laura, it's real nice to see you again. Pa, don't worry, I'll be home early.
Young people these days seem to be so busy all the time. He really didn't expect you today. You must excuse him.
Of course.
That finishes it for today.
I guess we can start breaking that bunch of wild horses next week.
Yeah, I can't wait to tangle that old bay. I'm gonna ride that son of a gun this time if I have to hog time and hobble him.
Let's just try sitting on him.
Oh, you're funny. Dadgone, I sure don't like the feel of that wind.
It's too early in the year for a storm.
Maybe not. It's blowing hard out of the northeast. I've seen it cloud up and storm this early before.
I don't know. My bunion's been hurting me ever since day before yesterday.
Yeah, your bunions hurt you on a hot day in July.
Yeah, there's a difference, though, Adam. It's like a toothache and a headache. They both ache in the same place, but there's a difference.
No?
I figure it'll be raining before day after tomorrow.
If you two soothsayers are right, we're not going to be breaking horses next week. We're going to be trying to keep the house afloat.
Hey, Joe. I can't understand why you want to prowl around like a Lobo wolf every night when you got a pretty little gal like that right here in your backyard. Ain't she a cute little gal? Just like one of them snowflowers. What do you call them?
Edelweiss. Don't you think so, Joe?
I don't know, I think what?
Laura's a pretty girl.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. Why do you ask?
Just an observation.
You two fellas go right on observing. I got some work to do in the wagon.
Sure.
All right, did you have a good night's sleep?
Yes, thank you.
Good. I'd like to apologize again for last night. I had that date and I had to keep it.
It's perfectly all right. I didn't think I'd ever see you again after all these years, Joe.
Hey, what brought you and your father clear out here anyway? He's not giving up the sea, is he?
Oh, he couldn't give up the sea. It's his life. If you give up the things you live for, then you might as well be dead. Father and I have traveled all over the world together. We've even been to Africa.
You've done a lot of traveling since we were kids in New Orleans.
I know. It's hard to believe that so much time has passed since then.
Yeah. It sure is. You know, you're so different from the little girl I knew back home.
We go on thinking that nothing changes. I'm so terribly sorry that things have to change.
Laura! Laura, what is it? What's wrong?
Oh, it's a little dizziness. It'll go away very quickly. I'm all right. I shouldn't have run so fast.
You want to help you into the house?
Laura, what is it?
Oh, I'm all right, Mr. Cartwright. It's nothing. I just felt a little weak.
Well, why don't you sit down?
Thank you.
Let her be, Ben. I'll take her upstairs.
Well, Matthew, I think she ought...
I know what's best for my own daughter.
I'm perfectly all right, Father.
You'll come up and lie down for a bit.
I wonder what's wrong with her, Pa.
Well, Matthew said she hadn't been feeling too well lately. Very delicate girl. Very much like her mother in that way. She was like fine glass, her mother.
I sure hope the Ponderosa weather makes her feel better.
Well, I'm sure it will. Laura, you must be feeling better. You certainly did justice to your supper.
I feel wonderful, Mr. Cartwright, and the supper was delicious.
Good.
Sure was. I think I'm gonna go back there and get me another one of those legs.
Another leg? That wasn't a chicken, that was a deer.
I think I can handle that too, Adam.
You know, a horse uses a chicken leg to pick his teeth with.
Matthew, I suppose you haven't had venison for some time.
Aye. The meat's good.
You know, we don't have any sharks around here, but we do run into wolves and horse-killing panther. How'd you like to go hunting with us tomorrow?
Why not, Captain? Be glad to pick out a gun for you. You might even get a bear.
No, I think not, Adam. The sea's my hunting place. The land tricks my legs and my eye. I think Laura and I'll just stay around the house.
Why don't you go with Adam, Father? Maybe I can talk Joe into taking me for a ride up to the lake.
We've had a long, hard trip. You need your rest.
Oh, please, Father. I'm much too excited to rest.
You'll do as I say.
I'm not a child, Father.
I know what's best for you.
Please excuse me.
I would have taken you anywhere. Australia, the South Seas. But you insisted on coming here.
Oh, I thought you wanted to come here, too.
Because I thought it would please you. Make you happy.
Why did you suddenly care so much about making me happy? After all those years you left me with Aunt Bronwyn and went away to sea.
I had a ship to command, a job to do. Child, you can't hold on to the past. You were children then. Now you're a woman, a fine, decent woman.
Father, you said I was a woman. Then don't shelter me anymore. Let me be a woman. I'm glad I can finally see the lake, Joe.
I wish your father felt the same way.
Oh, you mean you'd like it better if he were here, too?
No, that isn't exactly what I mean. Here we go. Ponderosa borders along the lake down there below us. As far as the eye can see to the east, all the way to the west to the mountains.
You're proud of your land, aren't you?
Ponderosa's a lot more than just land. It's kind of our piece of this earth. And we work it, we sweat over it. Sometimes we have to fight for it. I guess we leave part of ourselves in it.
What does it give you in return?
Oh, I don't know. I guess it gives the same thing. It gives the pines life.
It's beautiful, Joe. It's the most beautiful country I've ever seen.
And you're the most beautiful girl.
Now you're making fun of me.
No. I'm not making fun. There's something I'd like to show you. It's kind of a special place. Some bad weather.
Remember how we used to walk along the riverbank and collect rocks and tadpoles?
Sure. Hey, remember how I used to take those flat stones and try to skim them across the water? Gee, I was a skinny kid, wasn't I?
I didn't think so.
Hey, see that cabin over there? It's gonna be mine someday. I'm gonna fix it up. Oh, there's a view of the countryside from the other side of that cabin.
You should be very happy here.
You know, the first time I saw this place, I knew it was gonna be mine. Did you ever have a feeling like that? I mean, you see something and right away you know it has to be yours.
Yes. What's that flower?
I don't know exactly. People around here call it the snow star.
It looks so alone and delicate.
Yeah, it's the first one I've seen up here this year. Must have bloomed before its time. I'll get it for you.
Be careful, Joe.
Oh, don't worry about me. There's nothing to this.
Two.
It's a good thing I'm graceful. That'll make a star for your hair. The horse! That lightning must have spooked him. Uh-oh, here comes the rain. Let's get out of here. Hey, you all right?
Oh, I'm just out of breath. I'll be all right in a minute.
Hey, we better get those wet clothes off you. Come on inside.
The storm began so suddenly.
Whew. It's too far to walk back in the rain. Just gonna have to sit and wait it out here. I'll get a fire started. You'll be dry in no time.
Who lived here, Joe?
Oh, a fellow from Kentucky. Pa gave him this property and he built this cabin on it.
What happened to him?
He just disappeared.
Didn't anyone ever find out what happened to him?
Not exactly. Pa says he built this cabin for his wife. She was supposed to come out here from Kentucky on a wagon train. The train was raided by Indians and she was killed. I was just a little kid at the time, but I remember him. He was a big, gentle man. Knew everything about the woods around here. They say one night he heard his wife's voice calling to him and he went out and followed it. I never saw him again. I guess people like to make up ghost stories.
Is that why no one's ever lived here?
Yeah? Yeah, they say the place is haunted. There. Hey, we better get you out of those wet clothes before you catch cold.
But,
Oh, yeah, you need something to put around you. Hey, here we are. It's got a few moth holes in it, but it's better than catching pneumonia.
would you turn your back, please? Turn your back?
Oh, sure.
Where are they, Ben? I know Laura's with your boy. I saw them leave together.
Well, I'd say they've taken shelter somewhere, Matt.
Where can you take shelter in that howling wilderness?
Probably up at the Kennedy Ranch. They were headed up that way.
I want a horse, Ben.
Matt, Adam and Hoss are out there now looking for them.
Are you going to get me that horse, or do I get it myself?
You can have any horse in the Ponderosa if it'll do you any good.
I've faced gales that'd tear the skin off your face. I'm not going to sit here like a frightened cabin boy.
I faced them too, Matthew. We'll go out only if I think we should.
If I hadn't have brought her here, this wouldn't have happened. It's your boy's doing. He's not the right kind for her.
That's not fair, Matt.
Fair or no, if anything's happened to Laura, he'll answer to me for it.
You don't know what you're saying. Now, will you please calm down and try to be reasonable?
Reasonable? Do you think I don't know what kind of boy that is? I've seen his type before. On every ship and in every port I've sailed into.
Now, wait a minute. My son may be young, and he may be foolish, but he's honest, and he's honorable. I trust him with my life, and so can you.
Almost dry.
I wish it'd never dry. It's been a wonderful day, Joe.
A wonderful day. First I fell in the pool, and the horse ran away. Now we're caught in a storm, and you think it's a wonderful day.
Oh, you know what I mean. Just being with you. If I could stop this day from ending, I would.
Well, I guess there isn't any way to stop a day from ending.
Well, we could pretend. Like we used to.
That's when we were kids. It's no good to pretend anymore.
I wish we could bring those days back.
You know, when I first saw you on the Ponderosa, I kind of thought of you as you were when you were a little girl back in New Orleans. But you're not like that. You're not like that at all.
Let's finish up our coffee. Better get the horses settled up.
Oh, they're back.
Have you lost your senses, Matthew? Calm down.
Joe. Joe.
Hi. I came as soon as I heard you weren't feeling well.
It's silly. I feel sort of shaky.
You know, it's all my fault for getting us stuck up there.
I wouldn't have missed it for anything in the world. The flower in my hair, it's gone.
Yeah, well, don't you worry about that. I'll pick you a whole field of flowers. You just get well. Look, I have to go now.
Don't leave me, Joe.
No, I'll be back. I want you to rest. Think about a warm fire and the sun on the riverbank. I'll see you later.
I love him, Father.
You don't know what love is, nor does that boy.
Do you? Do you know what love is?
Aye, it's a strong thing.
It's caring so much you stop thinking about yourself.
How is she?
Well, she's all right, I guess. I still think we ought to have a doctor.
Well, Matthew says the doctors in New Orleans say that there's nothing wrong with it, that time won't heal.
What does he have against me, Pa?
Oh, I don't think he has anything against you, particularly. He's her father. She's been ill, and, well, what happened this morning, he's worried about her.
Then why didn't he let me explain what happened? Why wasn't he happy to see that she was safe instead of just...
He was upset, Joe. He didn't know what he was doing. He loves her very much.
I love her too, Pa.
Joe, are you sure that what you and she feel isn't just a sort of sentimental attraction for each other?
No. No, that's what I thought it was at first. Now I just want to be with her.
Well, from what I can see, she certainly wants to be with you.
We want each other very much.
Well, no one could ask for anything more. To be wanted is possibly the most important thing in the world.
We're going to get married.
Well, I don't think that's the biggest surprise I've ever had.
I just hope her father will understand.
Oh, I'm sure he will, Joseph. He's a stubborn man, but I know that in his heart his greatest concern is for her happiness. Be patient with him. Try to understand him the way you want him to understand you.
All right, I'll try. I just hope that he does.
I think Matthew and I ought to have a little talk. Maybe I can soften him up for you. That isn't interfering, is it?
Thanks, Pa. I think Laura and I can use all the help we can get.
Joe, what do you want to come up here for? This place gives me the willies.
Well, they won't when I get through with it.
What you figuring on doing? Hey, Joe, anytime you get that look in your eye, I always get in trouble. What you planning on doing?
Oh, you're right. I don't want to get you in any trouble. You better go back with the strays. I'll take care of this myself.
Take care of what yourself?
No, I don't want to get you in any trouble.
It's the first time you didn't want to get me in trouble. Besides, I kind of like trouble. What you planning on doing?
You promise not to tell anybody else?
Cross my heart.
No, I don't want to get you in trouble.
Dadgum you, Joe. If you're going to tell me what you're figuring on, am I going to have to bash you?
All right, now, I don't want anybody to know about it. You promise?
You got my word.
I want to fix that cabin up like new.
What for her?
For Laura and I to live in after we get married.
Oh, you just joking me, ain't you, Joe?
As soon as she gets well. That's why I want that cabin to be a surprise. Look, I need your help, brother. Do I have it?
Have it? Why, you dadgum little critter, you. I'm your brother. Sure you got... Joe, you ain't kidding me, are you?
No, I ain't joking you.
Dadgummit. I'm here to tell you this is the best thing that's ever happened, and you just shut up. Here comes the bride. Here comes the bride. Oh, that wine.
Feeling better?
Oh, much better. Thank you, Mr. Cartwright.
Good. Hop Singh has some bread baking in the oven, and he has to keep an eye on it, so I said I'd bring this up to you. I hope you like beef pie.
It's one of my favorites.
Good. Well, good food and plenty of rest. You'll be up and around in no time.
I'm very grateful for your kindness, Mr. Cartwright.
Kindness? What, to the girl who's going to be my very first daughter-in-law?
Isn't it wonderful? I'm so happy I can hardly keep from crying.
Well, with this kind of happiness, the color will be flooding back into this very lovely face to illuminate all our lives.
Except my father's. Mr. Cartwright, I don't know how to explain to him about Joe and myself. I don't think he'd understand.
Well, Laura, it isn't always easy for fathers to understand. Ask my boys. I'm sure they find me pretty difficult at times.
He's lived his own life. Why can't he let me live mine?
I know your father wants only what's best for you, dear. He'll come around.
Thank you, sir.
You drink up every drop of that milk.
Yes, sir.
Now, what do you think? You think she'll like it?
Like it? Of course she'll like it. Ain't gonna be but a couple of weeks till spring. That little old tree's gonna be full of blossom. Be the prettiest spot in the whole country.
Hey, you know, I was thinking about something. Maybe we ought to add on an extra room. You know, just kind of a small one.
Well, what do you want another room for? Now, I thought you two were supposed to be out looking for strays. Now, there are no strays around here.
Oh, we's just... Tell him, Joe.
Well, you see, Adam,
Well, it seems to me if you want Laura to like her new home, that you ought to build a porch out for a couple of feet, maybe. And then put some shutters on the windows, huh?
Now, how did you know?
Well, I'm the architect in the family, remember? Now, if you want an extra room, I think this is what you ought to do. Just one more thing.
Oh, what is it?
Oh.
Hey, it's a cradle.
Tell me again, Joe. Say it again.
I love you. I love you more than anything else in the world.
Joe.
There's so many things I'd like to tell you when it's supposed to be a surprise, but in just a week, that old cabin, it's gonna be our home.
Oh, please tell me, Joe. Tell me everything.
I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, you won't spoil it. Tell me what it's going to be like.
All right, I'll tell you some of it. When in the front room by the fireplace, there'll be a rocker for you. Of course, there'll be a real big stuffed chair for me there. In winter, when it's raining, we can sit in front of the fire and hear it patter on the roof.
Like we did before? Just us?
Oh, and in the kitchen, Adam's got a pump fixed up right there in the house, so you'll always have water for you. And in one corner over by the fireplace where it's real warm, we're gonna put the...
A crib?
How did you know?
Where else would you put a crib, silly? We'll have lots of children. There'll be Cartwrights on the Ponderosa for generations. Ours.
I love you.
Joe, have you talked to my father yet?
No, I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow morning.
Make him understand how it is with us.
I will. And don't you worry. Tomorrow I'll go into town and get the preacher. By tomorrow night, you'll be Mrs. Joseph Cartwright.
Oh, Joe. Darling, I love you so much.
Matthew, I'd like to talk to you.
Yes?
What I want to say involves your daughter and my son.
I'll not be discussing them.
What are you trying to do to Laura? Save her from the world or keep her locked up in a cage? What?
Are you trying to tell me what to do with my own daughter?
Don't you realize they want to get married?
There'll be no marriage between them.
Matt. You know, they're not children anymore. Laura is a woman and Joseph is a man.
There's a stage leaving tomorrow from Virginia City. Laura and I will be on it.
You listen to me. Now, those children are entitled to their happiness.
Leave me be, Ben. I know what's best for my daughter.
What are you being so stubborn about?
I know what's best for my daughter. I tell you. You have 3 sons, 3 strong sons. What can you know about a daughter? A sweet, soft, beautiful girl. Who's going to die?
What are you saying, Matthew?
It's the truth I've been living with every waking and sleeping hour. I couldn't bring myself to tell her. The doctor said she had a year to live. A year for me to make her happy in.
She knows nothing of this.
Nothing. Man, I could ride out the fiercest gale. I could beat down the scurviest, most mutinous crew. I could handle anything ever thrown at a man by nature or circumstance. But how can I tell my child, my only child, that her hope, her life is at an end? Why I couldn't encourage a marriage to your boy. It would have had nothing to grow on. It would have destroyed him.
Matthew. They must know. Both of them.
It can't be true. They said I was going to get well. You're lying to me, Father.
By the eternal, I'd give my life to make it a lie. I didn't want you to be hurt, child. Don't you see?
Tomorrow? Tomorrow was to be my wedding day. Go away. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone.
Oh, it can't be true. She can't be dying.
What is it, Joe?
It's Laura, Pa. She's not in the room and nowhere in the house.
Not in the house.
I think I know where she is. The cabin.
Joe, I had to come and see it. It's beautiful.
What's the idea of spoiling my big surprise?
Well, I wanted to see our view again.
We could have seen it together.
I couldn't wait. We have to crowd everything we can into each day. Look, Joe. The rains made the valley so green. This is our place. Our very own. Joe. Joe, hold me. Hold me. Laura. Joe, I feel all turned around, like it's the end of the day instead of the beginning.
I have to get you back to the ranch. You have a big day ahead of you. It's not every day a girl gets married.
No, I don't want to leave here. Please, Joe.
Laura, I love you so much.
I feel fine now. Darling. Like that little white flower floating on the water. So light and delicate. You found me in that pool. And you made me a part of your life.
Always.
Always.
Always a part of my life.
Matthew's gone. He understood why you weren't there to see him off. He asked me to say goodbye to you for him. And to please forgive him.
Well, Adam really did a job with his cradle, you know?
Joe, someone said something to me a long time ago. When Adam's mother died. Her father. He said, "Don't brood, son. Keep a warm spot in your heart for her. But don't carry her on your shoulders for the rest of your life. She wouldn't want that." I'll wait for you outside. It's a fine spring, son. I don't think I've ever seen a prettier one. Mess. Now, look, let's not have any more argument about this. Since Hop Singh has been away, this place has been turned into a pigsty. Now, one of you is going to stay here and get this place back into shape again. Who's it going to be?
Oh, it ought to be Adam or little Joe. You know I ain't no good at this housekeeping.
Neither am I, Pa.
Neither am I. I agree with Horace. It ought to be Joe.
Yeah, well, why always me and not you?
All right,
or
let's
us?
stop the haggling. We'll decide who it'll be by the usual fair method.
I want to choose my match. I'm tired of getting beat.
Go ahead. All right. You ready?
Ready.
Come together. It'll take about 2 days to get that bull back up here from the railway siding. By the time we get back, I expect the loser to have this house clean as a whistle. The whole house. Understood? Clean as a whistle. The whole house. Let's get ready, boys.
Oh, that burn little Joe ain't fixed that. Going rock. You're supposed to get a pick and chop that thing off. Lazy little scoundrel. Paul tear him up when Dad get him. Dad, blame it. Confounded that blasted. Where's that rope? You hold me. Here.
Clean as a whistle.
Yeah, I didn't think Hoss had it in him. Look, I'm beat, Pa. I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
Well, if the kitchen is this clean, I'll have to admit Hoss is a real great housekeeper.
Let's go see.
Oh, this is the cleanest this kitchen's ever been.
That house is not only a first-rate housekeeper, it's a first-rate cook. This is a better stew than Hop Singh ever dished up.
Yeah? Hey, Pa! Pa, come quick, upstairs. Come on, hurry.
Who she is, Pa? No.
She must be the one. That cleaned the house and made that stew.
Why would you want to do a thing like that?
Shh. Don't wake her up. She must be tired from doing all that work.
Well, Hoss can tell us who she is.
Hey, maybe in town all day. Hey, Pa. Hey, maybe some of that satchel will tell us who she is.
I don't want to go in the satchel.
Oh, why not? You know, no telling how long Hoss might be away.
It wouldn't be right.
Oh, go ahead and look in the satchel.
Go on.
For shame, man! For shame! What a black-hearted scoundrel you are! A man who would rob a poor old woman in his sleep is capable of anything. And how dare you come into this house with mud all over you?
Now, ma'am, will you please stop for just one moment? I'm Ben Cartwright. These are my sons, and we're in this house because we live here.
Yeah, and seeing as we didn't know who you were, ma'am, we thought we'd look in your little satchel there and see if we could find out who you were.
You have tongues, haven't you? All you had to do was to ask, and I'd tell you that I'm Nellie Lynch. Did you find him, Hoss?
No, ma'am, I didn't, Miss Leach. I'm sorry.
Oh. Just a minute, young man. Danny always was an easygoing soul, and I know he let you brutes get away with murder. But you're throwing the muck, as long as I'm staying here. And don't you ever come in this house again looking the way you are, or you've seen your last day on my son's ranch.
Your son's ranch?
That's what I said.
Mrs. Lynch, your son must be Danny Lynch.
Of course it's Danny Lynch. Now, who else would have be coming all the way from Ireland to see one more time before I divert my son, Danny?
Mrs. Lynch, I think there's something you ought to know.
Oh, stop talking so much. It's not the likes of you I come over here to see. So stop standing there and go fetch me Danny. Get!
Paul, I've been looking all over the place for you. I want to tell you about Miss Lynch.
I know all about Mrs. Lynch. Why didn't you tell her the truth?
Paul, that little woman came all the way from Ireland and thinking that... Paul, I just couldn't break her heart.
Hoss, you should have told her the truth.
Paul, if it hadn't been for that little lady, I'd have drowned it right out there in that well before you got back.
Drowned?
Yes, sir. I fell in the well. Dad, burn it, it ain't funny. Paul, that little woman saved my life.
Now, look, Hoss, you've got to be sensible about this. We've got a lot of men working around here, and sooner or later, somebody's going to let the cat out of the bag.
Stop.
Well, you're not doing her a kindness by letting her believe a lie.
What's stopping you from going right back in the house now and telling her the truth?
Well, she oughtn't to hear the truth from a stranger. She's going to hear it from the man who started this whole thing. Come on.
All right, Danny.
Well, if you gentlemen have come to pay me a visit, I hope you brought your own bottle of whiskey. Because I don't have a drink left in the house.
On your feet now. Mr. Cartwright here paid your fine. You're free to go.
Now, just a moment, Danny. There's something fishy here. Beware of strangers bearing gifts. And don't forget, we'll be out of here tomorrow.
Yeah, you're right, Howie. You never did care much about the likes of Danny Lynch, Mr. Cartwright. So I don't think you'd do me a favor without some strings attached.
There are no strings, Danny. I'd just like you to come out to the Ponderosa.
Ha! No strings, he says. Lock the door, Sheriff, and give him back his money. I'd rather rat in the spot where I lie than work me indebtedness out on the Ponderosa like a slave in bondage. I reject your officer and bid you good day.
I doubt that the devil himself could get an honest day's work out of you, so I certainly wouldn't be wasting my time trying to. I just thought you'd like to see your mother.
Oh, that I would. But even if I had the eyes of an eagle, I couldn't see all the way to Ireland. Oh, Howie, I got a letter from me mother a week ago, and he's telling me...
Your mother's not in Ireland. She's at the Ponderosa.
You mean my mother's here in Nevada?
That's what I said.
I can't believe she's really here. I just can't believe it.
We can't believe that you're the owner of the Ponderosa either.
Tell me, how did she take it when she found out all the things that I wrote in me letters were lies?
Well, we didn't tell her, Danny. We thought you'd like to do that yourself.
Poor Dobby.
Go on, Danny.
My regards to your dear old mother there, Danny. And have one for me.
So, Paul, that's why I sent little Joe out in a buggy with her. What's it gonna hurt, Paul?
Well, I said no, and that's exactly what I meant. No. Now, look, Hoss, I know you're grateful to her, and you have a nice, soft heart, but you don't have a soft head, and neither do I. I told you this before. Sooner or later, Mrs. Lynch has got to find out about him.
But no, she don't, Paul. That's just the point. She ain't gonna be here but a couple of weeks. Now, what's it gonna hurt if we play like her son is the owner of the Ponderosa? Paul, I can put up with Danny for a couple of weeks a lot easier than I can break that poor old lady's heart.
Oh, God bless you. How she got the heart of a saint.
You keep out of this.
Paul, you just gotta stop thinking about how you feel about Danny and think about that poor old lady. She came all the way over here from Ireland, Paul, and it just wouldn't be fair.
Hoss, will you stop being ridiculous? Now, you're not going to change my mind. And neither are you.
Well, Danny, at least we can get you cleaned up. Why don't you come on in the kitchen with me, huh?
Governor dead.
Danny! Never mind getting cleaned up. It's too late for that. She's here.
'Tis a lovely place my Danny boy has. Oh, a lovely place.
That it is, ma'am.
Danny?
Dobby?
Danny. The first time I've been called Dobby since the day you left Ireland.
Dobby! Oh, Dobby! Oh, sweet Dobby! I can't believe my eyes! It's me, Dobby! Oh,
Danny, oh, God love you.
thank you.
Danny. Oh, I've been so lonely. Oh, Danny. Oh, God, look at
I thought Danny'd be all shaven and have one of Pa's suits on by now. What happened?
Oh, Dad, burning, nothing happened.
You mean he wouldn't go for it?
No. We tried to talk him into it, but solid as a rock.
Oh, Danny, I'm oh, I've been so lonely. Oh, Danny. Oh, God, look.
You know, I think the rock just might melt.
2 weeks. No more, 2 weeks.
Danny Lynch, just look at you now. Faith and only a mother could love you. You're a sight to behold.
You're right, Miss Lynch. He don't look much like the owner of the Ponderosa, does he? But now that you're here, maybe he'll start sprucing up a little bit instead of looking like one of us cowhands.
Well, tell me now, Dobie, did you come all the way over here to see me trousseau? Or was it your Danny boy you really came to see? Tell me, Dobie.
Oh, Danny, you devil. You know I don't have to tell you.
May I?
Certainly.
I haven't tasted a fine Irish stew like that since the day I left me home. My mother's a fine cook, isn't she, fellas?
Oh, sure is.
There's only one way to top off a meal like that. It's a spot of good brandy. Well, Ben, you know where I keep my bottle. Get it for me, will you, please?
I'll get it for you, Pop.
You just stay right there, little Joe. I'm going to get this brandy myself.
You enjoy a spot of brandy, don't you, Dobby?
No, I don't. Well, I take a wee spot now and then for medicinal purposes. Only because my doctor recommends it. He says it's good to keep me old blood circulating.
Then you have a very wise doctor. My father always told me, watch out for a man who doesn't drink. And if you run into an Irishman that doesn't drink, stay away from him like you'd stay away from the plague.
But remember, it was the whiskey that done him in long before his time. God rest his poor soul.
Ah, come on, Dobby. You and I both know that he was drowned while fishing in the Irish Sea off Balregan.
Well, if he wasn't drunk, he wouldn't have fallen out of his dory.
Oh, thank you, Ben.
No, not for me.
Ben, you know I always like to do the honors with my own hands.
Oh, that's enough for me.
Well, seeing this is a special occasion, Ben, I don't mind if you and the boys join me in a spot of brandy. Little spot of brandy?
No, thanks, boss.
This is a very special occasion, Danny. And I really didn't mean to spoil it by reminding you of how your father left this world. I don't have to worry about you, Danny. Any man that could build an empire like the Ponderosa would never let the whiskey ruin his life. Forgive me, son.
There's nothing to forgive. And seeing we're together, well, there's just nothing to do but celebrate.
Danny! You got
Good morning, Darby. And how are you this fine day?
Never mind how I am. You just get down here. Remember, you have to do something for me today.
Ben, leave your horse saddled. I want to use it.
No, Paul, wait.
He hasn't been up a single day before noon since he's been here.
Well, at least that way you'll see less of him, Paul.
No.
Boy, he ain't much like his ma, is he? I don't see how a woman her age does it, Paul. She's up every morning fixing breakfast, and then after that, she's working all day like a slave.
You know, that Nellie Lynch is she's a remarkable woman. I have a great deal of respect for her. You know, I wouldn't mind it if she spent the rest of her days right here in the Ponderosa. But how a wonderful woman like her could mother a useless, shiftless, worthless, lazy parasite like that son of hers. Well, it's just beyond my understanding.
Danny.
Where did you get all the money?
It's my passage money, Danny. I paid my passage here, and I'm paying my passage home.
Now, what kind of a son owning a grand ranch like the Ponderosa would permit his poor mother to buy her own passage back to Ireland? Well, not your Danny boy. Here, you take it back and I'll buy you a passage myself.
I accept charity from no one, not even you, Danny. Not even if you owned every foot of ground in America. So stop arguing with me and put it in your pocket. And go to town and make all the arrangements.
You have no right to be so proud and independent.
Keep the money and save your breath. Yours, eh, Danny? It's the finest. Now, go along with you and purchase my passage back to Ireland.
Mr. Ramsey.
Oh, hello, Danny. Well, what can I do for you, Danny?
Well, I'd like to buy passage for Ireland.
Oh, for you, Danny?
No, it's for me mother.
Oh, well, now, let me find out about the ships here. Well, let's see, we have you said Ireland?
Yeah.
There's a ship leaving New Orleans at Kilkennan the last of the month. Now, I can't accept the passage money for the Kilkennan. Your mother will have to pay for that in New Orleans when she gets there. You could just leave $10 with me. It'll more than cover the cost of telegraphing to New Orleans. And then you can pay for the stagecoach ticket, our stagecoach ticket, anytime you want. Before she leaves, of course.
Well, thank you, Mr. Ramsey. It's a pleasure doing business with you. And it's a very bright young man you are.
Thank you, Danny.
Never saw you so prosperous, Danny. Your luck sure must have changed since the last time I saw you. My, this coat sure has a rich feeling. I'll bet you could...
It ain't for sale, so quit fingering it.
But, Danny, I'm flat busted. I couldn't buy it if it was. I haven't even the price of a glass of whiskey.
Well, I better be on my way. It's good seeing you again, Howie.
Well, Danny, when the cards was turning right for me, did I ever turn my back on you?
No, you didn't, Howie, and it wouldn't turn me back on you, but I'm not as prosperous as I look.
Oh, but Danny,
No, that is not my money, Howie. I'm not lying to you. It is not my money.
But, Danny, it's got purchasing power no matter whose money it is. Please, Danny, I'm pleading with you. I beg with you. I'll get on my knees.
Oh, now stop it, Howie. Stop it. Well, you never deserted me when I was down and out, and I will not desert you. I'll buy you one stiff drink and a good meal, and that's all.
Danny, that's all I can ask of you. Hey, come on, Danny, come on. I'm thirsty, I'm hungry. Come on. Danny, come on.
That's Pa's horse, all right. Maybe we can talk when staying in town at the hotel when Mrs. Lynch leaves.
Well, are you in or out, Mr. Lynch?
I'm in. Give me 3.
Do you suppose Pa was so fed up with Danny that he was willing to give him money to gamble with just to get rid of him?
Adam, little Joe, how's that fine new bull of yours?
Good.
I'm still offering 500.
No, it's a fair price, Mr. Higgins. You get ready to sell him, we'll let you know.
Well, I'm out.
Well, how about you, Mr. Lynch?
Oh, I'll bet. There.
I'm sure I'm foolish, but I'll call you. All I've got is 2 pairs, 7s and 6s. What have you got, Mr. Lynch?
All he's got is a pair of aces.
How much has he lost so far?
That's about $250.
I'm dealing you out this time, Danny.
Why?
Because you haven't got any money.
Well, isn't my credit good?
Not with me, it isn't.
If you can't get credit with men that know you, Mr. Lynch, you can't expect to get it from me.
How about you, Mr. Higgins?
I'm sorry, Danny. I'm broke.
I just heard you offer 500 for a bull. Adam, how about...
Let's go, Danny.
Are you sure you didn't give him the money?
I swear it, Paul.
But where did you get it?
I don't know.
Ah, good horse, no good at all.
And Danny, you ain't gonna get no argument from Paul on that subject.
No good.
Danny, you done said that once. Now hush up before you wake up your ma. You don't want her to come down here and see you in this condition, do you? Come on.
Good morning, Darby.
Good morning. So there you are, Danny boy. Do you know that it's almost time for lunch?
That I do. But I've been doing a lot of thinking. Takes an awful lot of thinking to run a ranch. And you know, there's nothing like lying in bed for clearing the head.
And it's lucky you are in having the cart right for working while you do the thinking. Certainly gives him an appetite.
Darby, you've been working too hard. I think I'll send for the cook, Hopsing, and have him come back from San Francisco.
You'll do no such thing. With a name like that, he could poison all of us. Besides, I like the cooking. Haven't I been doing it for years back in Ireland? Now, did you make all the arrangements for me going back home, Danny?
Well, I took that long trip into town, didn't I?
Oh, Danny. I wish I could take you with me. But I know your roots are here in America now.
Darby, I'm going back into town and cancel all the arrangements for your trip back home.
In heaven's name, why?
Because you're never going back. You're staying right here with me. I need you, Darby.
Oh, I wish I could be with you always, Danny. But I couldn't.
Why not?
Until I left Ireland to visit you, I'd never been further from Danboyan than Balrigan. No, I'd never rest easy, buried in a foreign soil. You know that, Danny.
Sure, Darby. That I do.
Thought I told you boys to take this bull out to the herd.
He also had us out mending fences. We can't be two places at once.
See, the Cartwrights are coming for lunch. I think I'll mosey along.
Oh, but why, Danny? You haven't eaten.
Well, I got to check up on their work. You know, it's not all manual labor running a ranch. It's thinking, Dobby. It's thinking. Goodbye.
Get your rope, Joe.
Yeah.
Come on. Hey, Paul, he's gone.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
Higgins.
And Danny heard that offer at $500.
I'll go with you, Hoss.
Hello, Danny.
Hello, Mr. Higgins. Quite a show you got, huh?
Yeah, that's a heap of wood. Say, if you'd like to finish sawing that and stack it over that pile, I'll be glad to give you $25.
No, thank you, Mr. Higgins.
Well, I can't say as I blame you. What are you doing with Ben Cartwright's bull?
Ben has a lot of bulls, so he decided to sell this one to you. He asked me to bring it over to you.
Is he still asking the same price?
500.
I sure would like to buy that bull, Danny. I surely would.
Well, what's stopping you from owning him?
Ben.
What I just told you.
I'd be willing to go even higher than the 500, but before we can close any deal, I'd better hear what Ben says. Hello, Ben.
Son?
Ben,
Now get up on your horse.
So long, John.
So long, Ben.
Maybe I ought to get you a drink, Danny.
No, it's too late for that. It's all gone.
What are you gentlemen doing home at this time of day? Isn't there any work to be done?
Abby, I hate to see you working your fingers to the bone down in me socks.
Oh, I've downed your socks before, Danny. And your father's, too. What is it, Danny?
Well, those are not my socks. They're Ben's. And every stitch of clothes I have on are Ben's. Even my shoes are his.
What do you mean?
No, I'd rather die than do this to you, Dobby. But no, don't say a word. Just listen. And when I'm finished, you won't even want to look or ever see a fancy Danny boy again. Now, listen, please. The Cartwrights own the Ponderosa. I don't own anything, and I never did. I was in jail when you arrived. Ben Cartwright has always been set against me and me ways. Because Hoss and his brothers, Ben too, otherwise he wouldn't have gone along with it. Couldn't stand to see you come halfway across the world and have your heart broken into pieces. They let me pretend I own the Ponderosa. Felt sort of good, too. Wearing fine clothes. Living in a fine house. It felt good inside, too. Because I could see how proud you were.
I don't feel proud of you now.
Let me get it all out, please. I stole Ben Cartwright's bull to sell it so that I could give you back the money that you gave me for your passage home. But he caught me before I could sell it.
What happened to the money?
Well, I got drunk and I lost in the poker game in the pub.
Oh, Danny, you gambled away my passage money. I don't have any more money.
Mrs. Lynch, you'll have the money to get back to Ireland.
Oh, Danny, what made you do it?
I don't know. I met a friend, and I did it. I did it because I'm Danny Lynch.
Don't you worry about your passage back to Ireland. Paul give it to you.
I never borrowed a farthing in my life, and I never thought I would. But it'd all be repaid. You can be sure of that.
Abby, I love you. And I'm sorry I hurt you so. Goodbye, Dobby.
I'll never lay eyes on him again.
Sure you will, Miss Lynch. He'll come back.
No, he won't. He's too ashamed. I've seen my son for the last time.
If I had, I'd have rode over to your place and told you he was over here. He come back the same day that he tried to sell me Ben's bull. I didn't take him serious right off, but he was. Seems kind of funny, don't it, Hoss?
Sure does. We got no notion he's over here. We've been looking for him for days. Glad Paul decided to invite you to Miss Lynch's farewell party, though. You mean he chopped all that by himself?
Yes, sirree. He's done a real fine job, Hoss. Why, I've got enough wood to last me all winter.
Hello, Hoss.
Hey, Danny. Oh, John's been telling me how hard you've been working. He sure wasn't lying.
Hoss, how's me, Dobby?
She's just fine, Danny. As a matter of fact, she's going back to Ireland. We're having a little farewell party for her tonight. I know she'd appreciate it a great deal if you could be there.
Well, the next time I see Dobby, I'll have the money for her fare back to Ireland in my pocket, or I won't see her at all. Mr. Higgins, that's the last that would me. I have me money, please.
Well, sure, Danny, but there's a lot of other work you can do around here.
Just me money, please. Mr. Higgins, I wonder if you'd trust me enough to lend me a horse to ride into town.
Sure, I guess so, Danny.
Well, thanks, Mr. Higgins. Thanks for everything.
Hey, Danny, wait a minute. Danny, what you gonna be doing in town?
What do you think Danny Lynch would be doing in town?
Hoss, you can't change the spots on a leopard.
Oh, you've been working like a mule. He cut all that wood and stacked it for Mr. Higgins. That must prove he's changed.
Could also prove that all he wanted was a steak. Did he continue to work for Higgins? No. Went straight to town.
Maybe he's got a plan.
You don't need a plan to stand up to a bar.
Well, anyhow, I'm gonna have to ride in town and find out. I just couldn't face that poor Miss Lynch if Danny don't show up for that party.
She's in there now, preparing for that party. Just as excited as the first day she got here. Hoss, wait for me. I couldn't face her either. I'll go with you.
Tens.
I'm out.
Small flush. Well, it looks like me pal.
Bartender, some whiskey.
I told you we'd be too late.
Yeah, looks like.
Cards are sure smiling on you today, Danny. Here, let's celebrate.
I don't need that. I am not drinking. Furthermore, you can remove it from me presence. Well, let's ante up.
There it is, Danny. That's all you get from me.
I'm through.
Well, you called. I got 3 of the tiniest ones in the deck.
They may be tiny, but they're big enough for aces up.
Danny, come on now, Danny. You got over $250 here. Now, let's get out of here. Come on, come on.
Do you mind if I sit in?
You can sit in if you want to, but the money's leaving.
No, you're broke. Now, give Mr. Wiley your seat.
Oh,
Danny,
come on, Danny.
now.
You done broke the table.
Yeah, but Mr. Wiley's holding plenty.
Well, I might have known.
I have no objection to two-handed poker. Do you, Mr. Lynch?
Oh, none at all. You've separated me from so much of me money in the past years, I'd like to try and get some of it back.
Well, let's see if you can.
But we're not going to play poker. Now, here's 250. You put up a like amount, and I'll high card you for it.
Danny.
Would you like to pick your card first, Mr. Lynch?
Oh, I don't care who picks first, Mr. Wiley, but we're not going to do it that way. Here, Hoss, you shuffle the deck and put them on the table.
Danny, don't do it. For your mother's sake, don't do it.
Shuffle them.
I just plain can't stand it.
I can tell by your face what happened.
He wanted to play double or nothing with Wiley. If I'd have stayed there another minute, I'd have broke him in two.
Why couldn't he quit when he had the 250?
Because he's Danny Lynch.
I better tell Mrs. Lynch that he won't be here. That poor lady, she's had so much. Thank you. Mrs. Lynch, I'm terribly sorry, but I don't think Danny will be coming to the party.
Poor Danny. He's still ashamed to face his mother.
Yeah, I feel kind of badly that for us all going along with Danny's lie. But we did it out of the deepest affection and admiration for you.
Dear Mr. Cartwright, you're a kind man. You and your fine boys, you don't need to be sorry for what you did. You see, I knew the truth all along.
You did? But when?
The minute I saw Danny's face. You can't fool a mother about her own son, especially an Irish mother. And I felt so grateful to you. That's why I kept the Ponderosa all clean and spotless out of my gratitude. And about this party. It's grand of you. But would you make my apologies to everyone? I just don't feel like a party.
Good evening, everybody. Everybody fill up a glass, and we'll drink a toast to me mother. The pride and joy of Dunboyne, and the only woman her son Danny ever truly loved.
Danny, you drunk.
Oh, no, I'm not. This is the only drink that's passed me gullet in days. Here, don't bother to count it. Take me word for it, there's $500 beautiful nestled snug and warm behind that string. Take me word, because I'm never going to lie to you again. Never. Well, a toast to me mother. May the winds blow kind on the Kilkennan as it sails across the sea carrying me Dobby. And a Danny boy back to Ireland.
Danny.
I know that's a surprise, but isn't that a toast worth drinking to, Ben? When the stage leaves Virginia City tomorrow morning, you'll never have to look at this cheerful, smiling face of mine again. Here, how's each you, Phil? Because unless you visit Nellie and Danny's fish and chip place in Dunboyne, you'll never taste the likes of them again.
Ah, Danny, this is the happiest day of my life. And I'm glad you don't own the Ponderosa. Because if you did, you couldn't go back to Ireland with me.
Well, now, Mrs. Lynch, I'm sure you haven't forgotten how to do an Irish jig. Play, boys.
Don't make a habit of those, Hoss. You'll have to go clear to Ireland to get them.
Might be worth it, Paul. Boy, it was a great party.
Yeah, sure is.
You know, I'm gonna sort of miss having old Daddy around, ain't you?
Yeah, sure am. Oh, what am I saying?
Howdy, ma'am. Ma'am, step down.
Surely stranger step down.
Hope you have some luck with that well.
Yeah, so do I.
Ma'am, I don't want to bother you none, but I wonder if you could spare a little of that water over there for me and my old pony here. We've been riding dry since yesterday.
We're down to just a few inches now. Hardly enough left for a week. Well, less than a week. But I can't turn you away, though.
Thank you, ma'am. There's him that could. Came by several ranches this morning. They have any more water in their tanks than you got in yours. They turned me down.
Well, I'm sure they didn't want to. Please don't blame them.
I don't blame them, ma'am. I'll tell you, as long as I've been riding through this flat country, I ain't never seen it this dry. It's bad. Real bad.
Well, look, you take what you need for you and your horse. But please, Be sparing.
Thank you, ma'am. We sure will.
The well is caved in. It's covering Dad. The sand's covering him.
Jason!
Hang on. Look at it. Get out of here. Get out of here. It's gonna bury you two.
It ain't gonna bury nobody. You just hang on.
Lady, send me down a rope and a hook. Hurry.
Just hang on for a minute. You may have some busted ribs there, mister. Okay, little girl. Take the end of that rope and go out there and throw a dolly over that saddle horn of mine. Jump up on the horse and make him back up for you. He'll back up real good. Hurry. Hurry.
Fire my ribs. Pull him all the way.
He's the doggone stubbornest man I ever run into, Cole. He's gonna be out there digging in that well again before the week's out.
A lot of good men down in the flatlands. They're sure gonna have a rough time of it.
That's for sure. If they don't get water down there pretty soon, there ain't gonna be a head of livestock left. No humans neither.
Well, this fella Ganther's only got a few head of cattle. Why don't we let him move them up on the Ponderosa, at least till the drought's over? That shouldn't be any trouble.
Afraid you're wrong. It means big trouble.
Then where's that?
Well, last time I was in town, I heard the people talking. They're worried. Really worried. I think there's going to be a mass migration from the flatlands. All those families, hundreds of them. They're going to come right up into the high country and bring all their cattle with them. What's left.
I'm only talking about one family. I don't see what trouble that is.
Ain't no use in arguing, Joe. This Mr. Ganther, he just ain't the moving type. He's gonna stay right down there on that place of his till he finds water or dies trying. Why, even when Miss Ganther's in there patching up his cracked ribs, he was trying to tell me something about an artesian well.
On a what?
An artesian well. Seemed like all you got to do is just dig a hole down to the water down through the earth, and when you once tap it, it'll just come busting out like a fountain or something. You ever hear of one, Paul?
No, yes, I've heard of them, but they're shallow wells. This part of the country, the water's about 100, maybe 200 feet deep. They wouldn't work around here.
Pa's right. It won't work any more than this auger is through this hard wood. Now I got to sharpen that thing again.
Hey, wait a minute. Give me that thing a minute. Doggone it. Paul, I can do it with this. This auger will do it. You ain't got to have a big hole, just a little hole. Just big enough to let that water come busting up once you tap it. Doggone it, it'll work.
Are you loco? You can't drill a well with an auger.
Yeah, especially through 100 feet of earth.
Maybe that water ain't 100 feet down. What if it's only 40 or 50? I can do it, Adam. I can reach it with this auger.
Well, it's finally happened. The sun's fried his brain, so he doesn't make sense anymore.
Yes, I do make sense. And you'll see how much sense I make, too, once you see that water come busting up out of the ground.
Well, how are you going to keep the sand from pouring in after you pull the auger out?
I ain't going to pull it out. I'll just keep adding steel to the top of it until I reach that water.
Oh, sure you will. Now, it's amazing what the sun will do to a man's head.
Now, wait a minute. I'm not saying this is going to work. Personally, I don't think it's a good idea at all, but if he wants to try it, give him a chance to help. When do you expect to ride down to the Ganthers again?
First thing in the morning, boy, if you'll let me have a wagon.
You can have one. You keep up your good work.
Oh, God. It's bad again. I'm afraid it's just going to keep on doing that, Mr. Yant.
We can unhook the top section and straighten it.
Done that 3 times and straightened the other a couple of times. Just ain't going to work, that's all.
But we can't stop now. I know the water's there. Just a few more feet and it'll come gushing up and fill the water tank.
Mr. Ganther, you've been saying that all week. I wish I could agree with you, but I can't. We can't push that thing down another foot. It just ain't gonna work, that's all. Sometimes a man's just got to admit when he's licked. with it, Al.
We'll soon take care of it.
Hey, Mr. Ganther, Miss Ganther. This here's my brother Adam. He brung you some fresh drinking water.
Well, how do you do, Adam? We sure can't use that water.
Glad to know you, ma'am. Miss Ganther?
Conrad, I'm afraid we're not quite ready for pipe yet. We still have a couple of feet more to go before we hit water. I cleaned the sand from off the top of that shaft.
You got lock joints on the end of those shafts?
Yep.
Do you mind if I tap one of those barrels on the wagon? You see, it's been quite a while since any of us around here have had any sweet water.
Help yourself. There's plenty there. Any luck at all, we'll have water coming right up out of the ground.
Thank you. Lindy, come help me find a bucket.
Gee, the only time anybody remembers I'm here is when they want me to do something. Hi, I'm Lindy Ganther, and it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Linda. Mr. Ganther, I wonder if you could help us put the end of this pipe over that shaft down there, huh?
I'd be glad to, but why?
Well, I got the idea of cleaning my rifle. I think we'll save a little time if I just show you rather than try to explain it to you.
We better do it his way, Mr. Ganther. He's generally right in a situation like this.
Listen, you get that bent shaft straightened out over there. Get it over here, will you?
Yeah.
All right, heads up.
Easy.
You got it?
I got it.
There we go.
Easy.
Now just drop it over the end of the shaft down there. There she is. Yeah.
All right, now come on in.
All right.
Easy, does it? Easy. Yeah. Come on.
All right, Mr. Ganther. Lock that into place down there. Where's your crossbar?
Right here.
I still don't understand.
Well, it's a long chance, but it may work. You see, as the auger bites into the ground, it sends the coring up through the pipe. And then the pipe drops down lower and lower, and we kind of help it along by hitting it every once in a while with a hammer. And then we just keep adding new links of pipe and new sections of shaft. Let's give it a try.
The board's over.
Send a little water down that pipe. Not much, just enough to keep the corings wet.
It might work, Adam. Doggone it, you're still the brainiest one in the family.
Handsomest, too.
That's the nicest thing a young lady ever said to me. You're kind of pretty yourself.
Now, look here, Linda. I thought you were sweet on me. Why, he's 10 times too old for you. Of course, if you'll settle for me, I'll wait around for you for 8 or 10 years. Any neighbors of yours?
No. It's the Collins family. Bill and Fred and their wives. In a couple of places about 20 miles east of here. They got even less water than we got.
Thought you might be better fixed for water than us, Jason. We were going to ask if we could water our stock. We won't.
I can spare a little. Enough to take you a couple of days. How far are you going?
Up to the high country.
What about your land? And all the years you've put into it. You're just going to go away and leave it?
It's dying. Dead. Either we move or we die, too.
It won't be long before the others will follow us. Ain't a family in the flatlands any better off than we are. How much longer you figure you'll last, Jason, with that puny little bit of water? A week? 2 weeks? You better make your move while your stock can still travel.
No, Ellen. This is my land. And I'm staying on it. And I'll tell you something else. There's water down there. A few more feet and it's waiting to gush up. And be all the water we need.
Folks have been saying that about the rain. Just a few more days and the drought will be over. The rain didn't come, Jason. Could be it never will come. Could be there ain't any water down in that hole either. But there is in the high country, and that's where we're going. Come on, Bill. Get the cows ready. And look us up when you make your move. We'll have some kind of shelter built by then, and you'll be welcome to share it. Let's go.
What's going to happen?
As well as I do what's going to happen.
I'll get some more water.
Well, we're down about 60 feet, Mr. Ganther. I think that water's further down than you thought.
It can't be much further. Just a few more turns, and the water will spout into that pipe, and it'll leap like a fountain up into the sky. It will. I tell you it will.
Well, we all been saying that for days now. And we could be wrong. What do you think, Hoss?
I don't know, Adam. I thought we'd hit water any minute. Nah, I just don't know.
It's got to be there. With all that runoff from the high country, it's been soaking into this ground for thousands and thousands of years. It has to be there.
I'm not going to argue that point with you, Mr. Ganther. The question is, just how far down is it? We only got a couple of pieces of pipe left and just a few sections of shaft. Even if we went down just 10 more feet, I don't think we could turn the auger. No, I think I'll ride on back and tell Pa what's that. I'm sure he'll find a place for you on the Ponderosa.
No, this is my land. And I'm going to stay.
Jason, you can't stay here if you can't find water. Or if we can't. What about it, Adam? You wanna just give up? Quit?
We'll go on down a few more feet, at least till we give out a pipe.
Keep pushing, big brothers. Go on, keep on pushing. Hey, you know, it's always nice to see a man using his back instead of his head.
Hi. Nobody tell you, but my name's Lindy Ganther.
How are you, Lenny? Nice to see you.
How long you been here?
Just long enough to see my brothers behaving like mules.
Anything the matter? Does Paul need us?
No, everything's fine.
What's all the talk about mules?
Well, we might as well talk about them. After all, you two are thinking like them. Go right ahead and push. Don't let me stop you.
You got any better ideas?
Yeah, at least one.
Yeah, now, come on, little brother. You tell us how we're going to get that auger down there to go round and round without somebody standing up here on top turning it round and round.
Well, even all the way back in Egypt, they knew enough to hook a long wooden arm onto their grindstones and let the oxen grind wheat. Just take down that frame, fix yourself up a walking beam, and let the horse drill the well.
Yeah. You know, it's such a simple idea. I'm surprised I didn't think of it.
It's funny, I'm not.
Don't you dare hurt him.
Wait a minute, Linda, honey. I didn't really hurt him. We play like that all the time, baby.
That's right. That's how he polishes his boots, dear.
All right, enough of this nonsense. Listen, I like your idea. But what we need is a real strong beam. I think maybe we can use one of those rafter poles over there on the shed. So you put away your horse, and we'll get started.
Oh, well, wait a minute. I don't build things like walking beams and things like that. I just do the plans. See, take that rig
brother,
down and...
There's plenty of work for everybody. We're all going to join in, so come along. Oh, don't you dare, Linda.
You put him down.
You really want me to put him down?
Yes.
All right.
Mr. Cartwright, I'm Jason Ganther.
Nice to see you. Pa sent some food. He figured Hoss would have your cupboard cleaned out by now.
Well, thank you. I'd like to meet your pa someday. He's raised 3 fine boys.
Thank you, sir.
Here, get that. All right, give her a lift. Okay.
See, we'll slot the main beam here. Make an iron collar for it. Then the weight of that steel shaft will move it up and down.
I like it. Let's build it. Hoss and I'll take down the frame.
I'll give you a hand. Linda, you fire up the forge.
Oh, I'd love to.
What are you doing?
I was just trying to help.
Don't. Let me do it myself. Thank you.
This what you want?
Huh? No. I want the little small hammer, little short one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get you the other hammer.
No. I'll get it. Just tell me where it is.
Right there.
Oh. Thanks. Will you leave that alone?
I'll get you the saw. I can saw real good.
I don't need anything sawed right now. I told you to leave that alone. Will you please leave it alone?
Oh, you burned yourself. Let me see it. I know what to do with burns. You put grease on them. I'll go get a bandage and bandage it up for you.
Hey, wait a minute. Why don't you find some tin soldiers and play with them?
Girls don't play with tin soldiers, and I'm a girl.
Yeah, well, you're also a nuisance. Now, if you leave me alone, later on, I'll cut you some paper dolls, all right?
Jason?
They turned us back. They had guns.
You knew that happened, didn't you?
I was afraid it would, but I thought they might get through.
Called themselves vigilantes, and they were guarding the roads that led to green grass and water. We were desperate enough to fight, but 2 men can't stand against 20 guns.
Did you try and talk to him?
We talked.
We pleaded with them and we begged. I saw my man drop down on his knees. And he ain't ever done that before. Except to the Lord.
Where are your cattle?
Why bring them back to die? We turned them loose. At least up there, the cows will live. And we're going to live, too. We're going to gather every able man in the Low Country, 20, 50. I don't know how many, but they'll fight. Any man will fight before he lets his women and his children die.
Don't do it, mister. I'll meet you 3 to 1.
Then we'll kill 3 to our 1.
Well, it's no use, Hoss. You can't talk to a man who has nothing to lose.
They can lose their lives.
Somehow, I have a feeling that doesn't really matter to them right now.
Hear what they're gonna do? try to fight their way through.
I heard him.
Well, what are we gonna do? Just stand here? I'm gonna go back to Ponderosa. Paul can stop them vigilantes.
Well, he's tried, but they wouldn't listen to him.
Adam's right. Pa and I rode into town the day before I left. The vigilantes were having a meeting. Pa tried to talk to them, asked them not to block the road, and they wouldn't listen.
Well, what'd the sheriff say?
Told him they were wrong. They told him if he tried to interfere, they'd lock him in his own jail. You know how these things are. You're either with them or you're against them.
What'd Paul have to say about that?
He didn't have to say anything. They knew he was against them.
No sense in talking about it. Let's see if we can get down to that water. How's that walking beam coming along?
It's coming along. I'll get back to work. What are you doing with my gun?
I was just gonna clean it for you.
Didn't I tell you before to leave my things alone?
I won't come near you, ever.
Hey, Linda, don't you pay no attention to him. He thinks he's terrible grown up, don't he? You know what I call him? Short shakes. Come on.
Well, now do you believe me, Ben?
Who gave them authority to patrol my land?
That's Luther Kent's doing. He heard that every man in the flatlands is getting ready to ride up here, prepared to fight. So if they do, Kent's vigilantes will meet them in a head-on, all-out fight to the finish.
Now, look, Roy. I'm going to give every one of those families from the low country a piece of land right here in the Ponderosa. Once they're settled in, on land which I have given them, they can't be evicted legally, can they?
Well, you're absolutely right, but that is legally. How do you figure to get those families up here?
Well, I thought of that. There is a way of getting out of the Ponderosa without using any of the existing roads. It's a long, hard trek, mostly over burnt-out grassland, but I know the trails and I can lead them.
Ben, you can't handle this alone.
I can handle it alone, as long as I have my 3 sons.
But those vigilantes out there are your friends and neighbors.
They're my neighbors and they're my friends. But friends are no friends.
That's the last piece of pipe. And there's only a little more steel left to extend that drilling shaft.
Well, where is it?
It's in the forge. Little Joe's putting a joint on it.
All right, well, let's stop this mule.
Oh, son. Oh.
Boss, give me a hand with that rigging, will you?
Yeah. Why?
Well, I want to yank this shaft up and check the auger.
How come? You ain't cutting?
Well, we've been going for quite a while. We haven't checked. I want to see if the blades are chewed up any.
Well, I think the mule.
Hey, Joe, give us a hand here, will you?
All right, I'll be right with you.
As long as you couldn't make any paper dolls for me, I thought I'd make something for you. It's a pinwheel. You can play with it.
That's very, very pretty, Lindy. And look, you mind it for me till I get my work done. Then we'll both play with it, all right?
Okay.
How far down are we?
Well, about 100 feet, I guess.
How far down you want to go?
We only got 25 feet of pipe and shaft left.
Well, there's plenty more pipe in town. I can get a wagon and go in and get it.
More pipe isn't going to do any good. You can't drill with a dry auger. There's only about a barrel of that water left.
Won't need any more pipe. Just what we have. The water's down there.
All right, Mr. Ganther. We're going to keep trying.
All right, let it down.
Hey, look at that. That's mud. That thing's supposed to be dry, Adam. We struck it. That's water. That steel's supposed to have been dry. It's wet. We got water, Joe. What's the matter? We got water down there, Adam.
There's water, all right, but it's over 100 feet down.
Hey, Mr. Ganther, I thought you said that water was going to just bust out of the ground like a fountain.
It looks like this land is different from where they get artesian wells.
Hey, Paul, we found it. We found water down there. We just got to figure out some way to pump it up. It seemed like them artesian wells are...
Well, son, you must be Mr. Ganther.
Mr. Cartwright, proud to know you.
Sorry about the trouble here. It was a long chance, but it was worth the effort, House.
But, Paul, we found the water. It's down there. We got it. We just got to figure out some way to get it up. Can we put a pump on it or something?
I'm afraid not. Take an awful lot of pumping to pull it up that far. Have to pump clear around the clock just to wet the bottom of that tank.
Maybe we could hook that pump to the walking beam. The horses would pull enough to help.
They couldn't pull up enough to keep themselves alive.
Hey, wait a minute. If you hook that pump shaft to a windmill, that will pump around the clock.
And why not, Pa? Windmills have been used all over the world for hundreds of years. They've been turning every grindstone in every mill in Holland for centuries.
Well, how come we ain't never used them?
We never had any use for them here until now. But, you know, with God's help, we could bring water to this dried-out country, and maybe that would be a way of stopping people from killing each other. Now, look, this is what I think we ought to do. Young lady, would you get me a claw bar
Yes, Mr. Cartwright.
or something? Let's try that.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I secure it up around in here and along here and back here, and I think we've got it.
Yeah, and watch the angle, though. Not too much, just enough to catch some of the wind.
Yeah, all we need now is about a dozen more.
Oh, Mr. Ganther, would you pull the rear axle off that buggy? We'll put it atop the frame and tie it in with the main shaft.
Fine. Well, we're going to need a cogwheel or something.
Oh, we'll need 3, but we'll have them as soon as Hoss and Little Joe get back.
Well, I hope Hoss doesn't forget that foot valve. Told him to unhook the barn pump and pull that shaft. He was so excited, I think he was only half listening.
Oh, he'll get it. Let's hope it's the right size.
My real worry is whether or not Joe can get that main gear wheel. I know they use them down at the mines, but the question is, do they have any extra ones?
They'd better, or Joe will take the one they do have.
It's all the commotion, Mr. Kent.
We didn't know it was you, Hoss. We saw the wagon coming and decided to stop it. But it might be some people from the flatlands.
Well, that's mighty neighborly of you, Mr. Kent. If you get out of our way and let us through, I don't think I have to remind you you're on our land.
We know where we are. You'll find plenty more of us on your land. There's men blocking every road and trail from the low country. You can tell that to your father.
Oh, why don't you tell him, Mr. Lane? I'd like to see you stand up to my pa and tell him just that.
Now, we're not looking for trouble, boy. We can't let your father bring those people up here. They take over everything. You've got to admit, a man has a duty to protect his own.
Look, I'm getting tired of this talk, Mr. Kent. You either tell these men to get out in front of this wagon or I'm going to run these horses over them.
You want to send some of the men along behind them?
What for?
Well, Cartwrights might be planning something. Could be they expect to hit us in the back when the others come up the road.
There are only 4 Cartwrights. 10 times as many of us. They won't give us any trouble.
Adam? That dust cloud. Been traveling this way for the last couple of hours. Your eyes are better than mine. What's underneath it?
Riders, wagons. Another dust cloud behind that one. There's more riders and wagons.
Yeah. More guns. What's keeping those brothers of yours?
Oh, don't worry, Pa. Everything's gonna be all right.
Sure, everything's gonna be all right. Suppose they didn't get the gear wheel. Suppose they couldn't get the cogs.
Well, if they forget anything, we'll just send them back. Make another trip.
There isn't time for another trip. Those Flatlanders are already moving up to the high country. And don't tell me to take it easy.
Sorry, sir.
Just that I'm worried if they ever get into a fight with Kent, a lot of people are going to get hurt.
Now, we got it, Pa. Everything we need. We rode right through without firing a shot.
Yeah, but only because we got out of there when we did. This one here is about to start something, Mr. Kent and Fella Lane.
Where'd you run into them?
Up on our own high road. Yeah, Kent's the leader, but that Lane's the troublemaker. One of these days, I'm gonna have a session with that man.
You stay out of his way. Come on, let's unload the gear.
What's a session?
What's a what?
A session. You said you were gonna have a session with that man.
You wouldn't understand.
Is it a fight?
I will suppose it is, Pigtails.
Nothing. I just wouldn't want you to get hurt.
Well, that's funny. I didn't think you liked me.
I don't.
Come on, get the other stuff.
All right.
You're Mr. Cartwright?
Yes, I am.
We told your neighbors we'd be coming back. We're going through this time. Going through to green grass and water.
What is your name, sir?
Bill Collins.
Mr. Collins, don't try it. You won't get through. They must have about 15 men guarding that road. And if you do try to get through, well, some of you are bound to get killed.
Maybe, but we'll do some killing, too.
Mr. Collins, it won't work. Me and Little Joe saw them. They got the woods full of men, behind every bush and rock. They got you outnumbered 2 to 1.
There are more coming, and we'll get through. The Lord didn't mean for some to have water and others to have none.
And that's true enough. He didn't mean that. And I'll tell you, there is water, and there's green grass enough for all of you. And it's yours, on one condition.
We thank you, but what do you mean by a condition?
It's yours if you let me lead you to the high country. Now, it'll be a long, hard ride over some pretty rough trails, but there won't be any men to stop you.
What happens if they try to drive us off once we get there?
Well, you'll have my boys and myself fighting on your side.
We're very grateful to you, Mr. Cartwright, but we don't want to cause trouble for you and your boys.
Well, don't let that worry you none.
Well, that's about as right as it's ever going to be. Want to try it?
Let's give it a try. Throw the lever.
Is it gonna work?
Honey, let's pray it will.
Hey, look at it, Joe. Adam, look at the rod. It's going up and down. It's working. It's pumping.
It's not pulling yet.
Come on, pull, pump. Please, pull. Please, please.
Did you prime it?
Daggone it. I forgot to prime it, Joe.
Some water left in the house. I'll get it.
Here it is.
Hey, Pigtails, how'd you happen to think of that? Come on, cup it. You're spilling some of it.
shed. We gotta extend that trough over to the water tank. Joe, ride out and tell Pa we found the water and get those people back here.
Right, we got enough water for everybody. Now everybody in the flatlands can build a windmill and have all the water they need.
Yeah, but wait a minute. I started this whole thing, and I'm going to get to tell them about the finish.
All right, get out of here. Go. Come on, Adam, I'll buy you a drink.
Wow, look at it! Oh! Wow!
Hey, Paul! Paul, we found it. We found the water, Paul. A whole ocean of it at the canter. All we got to do is pump it out of the ground. We'll help you fellas build your windmills.
That's wonderful, son. Wonderful.
Did I hear you say there's water? Water for everybody?
That's just what you did here, Mr. Collins. And you were right. The law did not mean for some to have water and others to have none. You hear that, man? You're going back. You'll have all the water you'll ever need. You're going back to your own land.
How does a person say thank you for a gift as wonderful as water?
Oh, ma'am, it was really Horse's idea in the first place, and your husband's faith that kept us working at it.
We knew there's water there all the time, didn't we, Jason?
Sure did, Horse.
Sure you did. With just a little help from casings, walking beams, and pinwheels.
Here, boy. Maybe you'll have time to play with this now.
Oh, well, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, come on, boy. No playing for you. Plenty of work at home.
Yeah, come on, little buddy. We'll make you a little red wagon so you can help us.